Far from the madding crowd, across the wide, breathing fields of Wessex, where the land itself seems to remember every storm and every silence, there lived a man named Gabriel Oak. He was not remarkable in the way that draws attention. He did not seek admiration, nor did he carry himself like a man meant for great things. But he possessed something rarer, a steadiness that did not bend easily, a patience that did not demand reward. His life was simple: sheep to tend, land to watch, and the quiet rhythm of work that gave meaning to each passing day. Gabriel believed in things that lasted. Then he met Bathsheba Everdene. She entered his world not with noise, but with presence. There was something in the way she carried herself. Upright, assured, unwilling to be overlooked. She was not delicate. She was not uncertain. She was a force that did not ask permission to exist. Gabriel noticed her before he understood her. And once he did, he found himself drawn not by charm, but by something deeper, a recognition that she was unlike anyone he had ever known. When he spoke to her, he did so plainly. No grand gestures, no carefully crafted words, just honesty. He asked her to marry him, not out of desperation, but out of belief, that a life built together, slowly and steadily, could be enough. Bathsheba refused. There was no cruelty in it, only certainty. She would not be claimed, she said. She would not belong to a life that had already been decided. She wanted more, not comfort, not safety, but something undefined, something that felt like freedom. Gabriel accepted her answer, but it did not leave him unchanged. And then, before anything else could take root, his world collapsed. It happened in a single night. A moment's lapse, a chain of small misjudgments, and his flock, his entire livelihood, was driven over the edge of a cliff. By morning, everything he had built was gone. There are losses that arrive slowly, giving a man time to prepare, and then there are those that come all at once, leaving nothing but silence in their wake. Gabriel stood in that silence. There was no anger, no outward despair, just the quiet understanding that his life as he had known it no longer existed. So he left. Not with hope, but with endurance. Time passed, as it always does, indifferent to the struggles of those beneath it. And in time, Gabriel found himself once more within the orbit of Bathsheba Everdene. But everything had changed. She was no longer the woman he had met by chance. Through inheritance and circumstance, she had become the mistress of a large farm, responsible not only for herself, but for land, workers, and the fragile balance that held it all together. Where others might have hesitated, she stepped forward. She gave orders, she made decisions, she refused to be seen as anything less than capable, but confidence is not the same as experience, and the land does not yield to pride. Gabriel returned to her not as a suitor, but as a worker. She hired him. There was something almost unspoken in that moment, a recognition of what had been and what now was. He did not remind her of his past offer. She did not acknowledge it. Instead, they began again. The farm became their shared ground. Gabriel worked with the same quiet dedication he had always known. He watched the skies, read the winds, anticipated danger before it could take shape. Where others acted in haste, he acted with care. Bathsheba led with determination, but she learned, slowly, sometimes reluctantly, that strength alone was not enough. She began to see the value in Gabriel's presence, not as authority, but as guidance. He did not command her. He steadied her. For a time, the balance held. Then came Sergeant Troy. Troy did not arrive quietly. Where Gabriel was grounded, Troy was restless. Where Gabriel spoke little, Troy spoke with ease. He carried himself like a man untouched by consequence, moving through life with a confidence that bordered on carelessness. Bathsheba noticed him immediately. He did not admire her strength in the way Gabriel had. He challenged it, played against it, drew her into something faster, sharper, more dangerous. What Gabriel had offered was a life. What Troy offered was a feeling. And for Bathsheba, that was enough. Their marriage came quickly. Too quickly. It was not built. It was decided. And what is decided without understanding often unravels without warning. Life with Troy was not what Bathsheba had imagined. The charm that had once seemed effortless now revealed itself as inconsistency. His confidence as indifference, his energy as recklessness. The farm began to suffer. Decisions were delayed, money was mishandled, responsibility was ignored. And through it all, Gabriel remained, holding together what he could, preventing collapse where possible, asking for nothing in return. Then came the shadow of the past. Fanny Robin. She was not like Bathsheba, not bold, not commanding. But she carried with her a quiet story, one of promises made and abandoned. Troy had once promised her a future. He had failed her. And now, the consequences of that failure could no longer be hidden. Her fate was not dramatic. It was worse. It was quiet, inevitable, and tragic. When the truth came to light, it did not explode. It settled, heavy and undeniable. Bathsheba saw Troy clearly for the first time, not as he had presented himself, but as he was. Something within her shifted. Not broken, but changed. The certainty she once carried was gone. In its place was understanding. And with that understanding came distance. Troy, faced with the weight of his own actions, disappeared. Gone. Whether by choice or by fate, it did not matter. What remained was absence. Time moved forward. Bathsheba endured. The farm survived, not through luck, but through effort, and through Gabriel. Always Gabriel. Then came William Boldwood. He was a man of control, of structure, of order. His feelings, once awakened, did not flow. They fixed themselves, immovable and absolute. He saw in Bathsheba not a partner, but a purpose. And he pursued her with a quiet intensity that did not fade. His proposal was not reckless like Troy's. It was deliberate, promising stability, respect, a life without chaos. But there was something within it that unsettled Bathsheba. It was not love as freedom. It was love as need. She hesitated. For the first time she did not trust her instincts. For the first time she understood the cost of choosing wrongly. And then, just as decisions began to form, the past returned. Troy came back, alive, unchanged. What followed was not a confrontation of emotion, but of consequence. Boldwood, pushed beyond the limits of his restraint, broke. A single moment, a single action, irreversible. And once again, silence followed. When it was over, there was nothing left to pretend, no illusions, no excitement, only truth. And in that truth stood Gabriel Oak, as he always had, not louder than the others, not more dramatic, but present, constant, unshaken. Bathsheba saw him then, not as she once had, but as he truly was. Not a man who asked, but a man who gave. Not a man who dazzled, but a man who remained. And so, at last, she chose, not quickly, not impulsively, but with understanding. The land did not change. The seasons still turned, but this time there was something different. Not passion, not intensity, but something far stronger. A life built not on feeling alone, but on trust, on endurance, on quiet, unwavering presence. And in that quiet, they found peace.